Hey folks, good evening. So a couple minutes early, but I saw we had some folks in here. I want to tell Jules and his moderators, that'd be Voon. Good evening. Voon. A couple minutes early, but I saw Jules, Voon, MB Heritage all did shout out to push people over here for our live. Can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So who else we got in here? We started having folks in here as soon as I posted this thing the other day. Had Southern Boy Prepper. He left a message in here almost like 2 days ago. So we got Paula Wells, moderator extraordinaire. Voon, welcome. We got Jules, Small Space Gardening. You know, Jules does a premiere at 6:30 each Wednesday. So try to stop in over there because I'm at my desk, and it's a great time to kind of stop in and check out what Jules got going on. So Jules Small Space Gardening, pop over there and check Jules out. He's gardener extraordinaire. He's got a lot of great gardeners on that channel. So MB Heritage and, you know, Voon, although she's very humble and she would not say that she's a great gardener. She says she's relatively new. Voon's done some incredible gardening videos, and I'm impressed. Black's Tropical Homestead. So you guys were in here last week. We've been communicating this week. I'm going to try to get them on here. They said that they're available. Hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll get Black's Tropical Homestead on here. They're right up the road from us, up in Savannah, Georgia. So they're about 2 hours north of us. Who else we got in here? Michael Harris, welcome, sir. MB Heritage, as always, welcome, Michael and Bobby. And Bland's Promised Land Ranch, that's our guests from last week. So Eric and Monica, welcome, welcome, welcome. I got your email today, Eric. I just have not had a chance to even turn that around. I will respond. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a chance to get to that. Who else? I think I've caught everybody that's in here now. We've got Randall in here tonight from, hopefully it's going to be Randall and Mechelle, and might just be Randall. He's in the waiting room, it looks like. So he's going to be joining us tonight. So Randall is one of the channels that, you know, I was aware of before we went over to the Gulf Coast meetup a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago. But I met Randall and his wife, Mechelle, when they were over there, and we did some bonding because he walks right up. We're kind of set up in the booth inside, and he walks right up, and apparently, if you look on my, where's it at? Right there, he saw that, and he comes in and he says, "I see one." And for those who aren't in the military, that was my rate when I was in the Navy. I was an interior communications specialist, and Randall was a radioman, so he retired from Mayport, which is the same base that I was stationed at when I was in the Navy. And it's where I separated from the Navy from back in 1992. And the main reason that I chose to stay here in Florida after I got out. So Randall moved over to Alabama, and I'll let him kind of address that a little bit. Black's Tropical Homestead, laughing at something. What are we laughing at in here? Got LG Homestead. Welcome, LG. You see Randall. He's kind of in the waiting room, but he's coming. There he is. There he is. So Randall, I'm going to bring in, pretty early tonight because he's got. He said he could come on, but he's still got to go to church. So he's a busy man. So we're gonna keep him up here until probably 6:45. It will be, I guess, 7:45 Eastern time, because he's in the Central time zone. Michael Marchone, welcome. Bomber Steve here from Down Under. So let me try to bring them in. Randall, you there?
Yep, I'm here. We're having a little technical difficulties. I was trying to use my phone, and the signal wasn't coming in clear. So we're switching over to Bill's phone.
Well, you are in Alabama.
Yes. we have rural internet like everybody else. I'm really hoping that Star comes online here soon.
Well, I want to kind of introduce. Is Michelle there with you, or is it just you? There she is. There she is.
She's trying to set up.
I'm the camera lady, so I'm trying to set everything up.
So you're the technical genius then.
That's right.
Yeah, she's the technical expert.
I sold TV advertising for a long time, so you get us both in.
So I was kind of doing some brief. Hold on, just one second.
Okay, that's what we're doing. Holding on 1 second.
I'm not sure if Rick is going to be here. He's been working some crazy hours and not getting off when he's expecting to, and
What happened? Did it mute it?
No, I can hear you. Brenda Baker, welcome. Glad to have you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Did you mute it? Wait.
Well, as I was saying, can you guys hear me? I can hear you. So Rick's going to be here. Rick's hopefully going to be here. Oh, speak of the devil, there he is. So this is Randall and his wife. They had not, Kimberly and I, or Lala and I, went over to the homesteaders meetup ourselves, and Rick and his family were kind of watching watching the farm. Uh-oh, there they go. They're gone. Can you hear me now? That's exactly what's going on. So Rick didn't get to.
She's probably going to fix the connection. Rick
did not get to meet them, so this would be the first time that he would be connecting with them. So those of you that Rick come in a little bit late, so on our channel, I am generally referred to as Papa or Big Rick, and this is Little Rick. Now the irony in that is I'm 6 foot and he's 6'4", so he's not so little. So we have got the Vineyard Chicks that just joined us in. Welcome, ladies. Welcome. Glad you could join us. And trying to get the Vineyard Chicks on here for a live one evening. I always enjoy chatting with them, and that's some very bright young women there, and would love to kind of get to know them better. So looks like you guys, can we add them in, Rick?
You'll see how, I think it was just a weak connection. I don't know if it still is or not.
Good. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. I dropped the phone out of the cradle that holds the phone, and it went mute. Who knows what happened?
We have to get out.
Michelle was doing some editing 2 nights ago, and as she was getting ready to start rendering the video, she dropped the phone, and it lost the entire video somehow. So she had to remake the entire video.
Oh man, that sucks.
See, I've never had that happen, but I've had where I've got video and we're getting ready to put it all together, and then I go to look at the card where the video is, and it's gone. It's like there's no history of it. It's like I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
He's done a lot of videos where he actually goes to record and doesn't realize that all he did was take a picture. And then it's like 20 minutes later and he realized all he did was take a picture. Yep.
Ah, that's fun.
Yep.
He doesn't think it is.
Paula says, Rick, you're a full inch taller than Kyle. I think I knew that and may have been looking forward to seeing you live. So, so I'm 6 foot, but Rick's 6'4", so he outgrew me by the time he was like 15 years old. So guys, this is the other 50% of our channel. You guys, he was not with us over in Milton when we had the meetup, but this is my son. Little Rick is his what we refer to him as.
I've seen him on lives before.
Huh?
Yeah, I've seen him on the other lives that you've done.
So I really, really enjoyed meeting you guys when we were over in Milton, and wanted to kind of have you on. And I thought tonight would be great since tomorrow is Veterans Day, and I did not know about Randall until we met in person. That he's a retired Navy veteran as well, correct?
Almost 8 years ago, yeah. I was talking about that today.
So you did how long were you in the Navy?
I did 20 years. I did the least amount as I could. Got my greener pastures.
And you retired. Go ahead.
And I would have done it all over again, except for being a recruiter. I'd probably rethink that.
Right?
But yes, I am retired.
Yeah, I get asked that, sometimes, and literally I enjoy. Those were some of the most stressful but fun years of my entire life. I would do it all over again, and I would probably gripe just as much now as I did back then. But I had a blast in the military.
Yeah.
So when we first met, you've kind of first introduced yourself live by running up and kind of calling me, IC1 or something to that effect. And I hadn't heard that term in like literally 25 years. And I'm like, who is this guy? And what's he want? So what was your rate when you were in the military?
I joined as a radioman, and then shortly after I joined, we had merged because the internet had came out. And they didn't know what to do with this new thing called the internet, and they merged it in with the radio communications people, and then they converted our job over to IT. So I retired as an IT. But
so you were as an IT, you were the tech guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I was mostly a communications type of guy, not so much an internet type of guy. But that's what I do now. I work in cybersecurity now for Department of Defense.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So you retired 10 years ago?
8
years ago, and you retired from Mayport, which is the base here in Jacksonville, essentially, and that's where I separated from as well. And so when you got out of the military, what took you back to the other side of the state, or over to Alabama? Actually, you guys aren't in Florida, correct?
We live right on the state line, like literally a few hundred feet down the road is state line road.
We could walk down to it.
Okay.
And on the right side of the road is Florida, and on the left side of the road is Alabama. And I just came back home to where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that like on your way to Dothan?
No,
we're about 3 hours from Dothan.
Just north of Pensacola.
But I'm saying, like, that's how you get to Dothan? No?
If you leave Jacksonville on I-10 westbound, you come to Dothan, but if you stay on I-10 for another 3 hours on over to Pensacola, Mobile, Alabama area, we're in that area. So we're a few hours
Dothan,
from
Alabama is the furthest east or west, excuse me. It is the furthest west that I have ever been that I know of and that I can remember. Okay. I've been to New Orleans because I was born there. But other than that, like, I don't remember anything there. But I went to Dothan, Alabama, and I was like, this is cool. So never went west. We always went north.
You're not missing anything by not anything in New Orleans.
You know, when I was in the Navy, they stationed me there. That our ship went into a shipyard availability over there. So I spent 14 months in New Orleans. So he always tells people that's where he's from, but he was born there. And then we moved back to Mayport 6 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have a shipyard in New Orleans.
Well, it's on the northern side of town, up by the airport. So freehandly made guy says, "Are you close to Molino, Florida?"
Yes.
Yes, we're about 20 miles from Molino.
Okay.
North.
Well, I think that's Niecy's old stomping ground, is what she said on some other videos in the past. So you got out of the military and you moved back over to where you were from, and then you decided that you wanted to engage on this thing called homesteading. Is that something that's always kind of been in your blood, or is that something that you told your wife, I want to homestead and raise our own food, and she looked at you funny, or what?
Well, it's funny that you say the word engage, because when I moved back over here, Michelle and I had known each other. So after I had gotten divorced, she and I were doing some online dating, and she was down in Pensacola selling TV advertising, and I was up here in the country, and then she was going to take her daughter Maya to go meet Maya's father at the halfway mark of around Auburn
In Montgomery.
Mm-hmm. And then she had set up a date to meet me on her way back through, and then continue going on.
I was just going to scratch him off my list. It was on the way back to Pensacola. Let me just take this country boy and scratch him off my list.
So you were kind of a city girl then.
Oh yeah,
very much.
I had never seen a chicken up close until I met Randall. He asked me if I'd ever planted anything, and I said nothing, zero.
I had been through a marriage before, and I knew what type of person I wanted to be with. I knew what type of person I didn't want to be with. So one of my interview questions was, have you ever planted a tomato? These people, the next person I was going to be with.
Hold on. You said interview questions?
Right.
You said interview questions? Was this like on a formal date?
I was dating about 6 or 7 women at one period.
Like talking to, not necessarily like going, yeah. And then I was dating like 6 or 7 guys that I was talking to.
You guys got to remember, Dad did not. Him and Lala met like a long time ago, and they, their first date was E.T. That tells you, and it wasn't like a rerun of E.T. It was
the original of E.T.
So
hey, we got some additional folks. We got Nunya text on the back 20 in here. Broussard Homestead, welcome. I've been over to you guys' live. It's been some time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The whole eHarmony and all that kind of stuff was like not a thing, and so like you can't, when you're dating in person, you can't like really see 6 people at the same time, because then you
right.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. I met my wife in person, but I understand what you're saying, just because that you guys got to remember, Dad is old, and so he doesn't know these type of things.
How old are you? I'm 46. How old are you, Rick?
44. Or, I'm sorry, 54. See, I'm getting dementia apparently.
I'm a ripe old 33.
All right, so I don't want to let this question go. So Randall says that was one of his interview. What was another interview question? So the first one was a tomato. What was another one?
Well, if they didn't get past question 1, there wasn't follow-ups.
But I've never planted tomatoes, so I was the exception.
Yeah,
There's always an exception.
She was going to drop by. I was going to cross her off the list.
And I was going to cross him off my list. Yeah.
And then I cooked lunch for her, and we...
It was that bland chicken and bland broccoli that did it for me.
And then right after that, she left to go on back to Pensacola, and then I had got immediately in the truck to go on to another date later that evening. And then I got back immediately from that day, and I was like, Yeah.
That's some really active exploration going on there. Wow.
I had a date that night as well, but I canceled.
All right. So how long have you two been married?
4 years next month, and
Okay.
we've been together for a little over 5 years.
Well, what's really cool is kind of watching you two interact, and you know, I enjoyed talking to you when we were at the Homesteaders meetup, and it sounds like you won her over to your way, Randall.
Yeah,
city girl to country girl.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, she doesn't like to even go to Pensacola anymore.
No.
The traffic drives her nuts.
Yeah, I don't see how I ever drove in the city ever. We have like 4 traffic lights, so yeah.
Here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cool things that, you know, when I first kind of found your channel and I started going through it, you know, one of our primary kind of recreational activities for Kimberly and I is camping. We've always enjoyed camping. We've gone camping literally since my kids were, I think we've been camping since they were 2-3 years old, and we used to be in a tent. And then I think we had this discussion over in Pensacola, but I don't remember how far we went with it. I just remember what you told me, Randall, which was that you did not want a big camper, so you kind of downsized from.
Oh no, it was me.
Okay.
I didn't want the big camper.
And I didn't want to sleep in a tent.
Randall wanted a camper, and so we got this mini winnie, and I'm like, no, it's like a trailer. No offense to anybody who lives in a trailer, but it's a trailer with wheels. We just move it wherever we want to. It's got everything we need, and we're not roughing it. I wanted to rough it like we were camping.
Honestly, I'm, you know, I would have said that same thing probably in my 20s, but it's like when I'm in my 20s, we started in a tent, and we were in sleeping bags on the ground. But by the time I'm 30, I've already moved up. Now I'm on an air mattress because now I'm starting to feel some pain in my back, and so now I'm like in my 30s, and I'm on an air mattress. Well, by the time my kids were like getting out of high school, now it's just Kimberly and I. Now we're looking at renting a cabin, you know, at state parks, and you know, and then 4 years ago we kind of moved up to a camper. That's the first time we'd ever gotten a camper, and yeah, I can't see myself going back to a sleeping bag in a tent on the ground ever again. My back would not take that.
We had actually went camping 2 years ago in March, right before COVID hit. And we were in a hammock, and it got down to 30 degrees that night. We had the electric blanket in the hammock with us, and it was cold, and I couldn't sleep. I didn't have my CPAP, and I was like, baby, I can't do this. I got to have a boy to plug in my CPAP. And then across the park was some teardrop campers, and I said, let's go check those people out, because that looks like something that might fit the bill here. So we both decided right then that a teardrop camper would be the happy medium between roughing it and you're not in an RV when you're at the campsite.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the cool thing, is if you go onto their channel, I mean, they're talking about this teardrop camper. So, you know, most people would go to the dealership and they would go get them a camper. Well, not Randall. He found instructions and how to build one and built his own. And it's a cool looking camper. I mean, it is. I admire your workmanship. I mean, the time that it must have taken to put that together, that's impressive.
Over the course of 4 months, I worked on it every afternoon, every weekend. For a total of about 600 hours, we built the camper. When we first started dating and dating serious,
that is fun.
I said, I've always wanted to build a cedar strip canoe. Would you want to build a cedar strip canoe?
Yeah.
We'd only been dating about a month.
Right.
And so here we go.
So I said, well, this is a sure test of our relationship. Let's build this cedar strip.
Over the course of 9 months, we built the cedar strip canoe. And we found out that we could do that together.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, and she was right in there just as much as I was doing it. She actually fiberglassed the canoe inside and out, and I just mixed up the epoxy and handed it to her.
I've always said I'm going to build me a cedar strip canoe, And back in probably the late 80s, there was a Popular Mechanics edition, magazine edition, that actually had the entire process in that magazine, and it was illustrated really, really well. I still have that edition of Popular Mechanics, and I keep telling myself, every now and then I find it and I pull it out and I open it up and I look at it and I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool. I'll probably never do it, but
that might be great, just because it takes so long to do it. You put one strip on, you got to let that strip dry before you can move to the next one. So we literally would put 2 strips on a day, and it took 9 months to do this because
it took longer to make the canoe than it did the camper.
Yeah.
Rick, can you pull up? Go over to their channel and pull up their teardrop. People got to see this. That's pretty amazing. I mean, I was shocked that I thought it was like some, one that you had bought on the market and probably significantly overpaid for because it's such a stylish camper. But I was impressed.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Michelle designed it. I said, well, what do we skin it in? What do we put on the outside? And she says, we make it look like the canoe.
Gotta look like a canoe, right?
I said, all right, let's do it. Let's make a cedar strip teardrop camper.
Have you built a canoe?
Yeah, we did the canoe first in the first month of our relationship, and then we, later on built the camper.
So the canoe is what you put on top of the teardrop when you're hauling, right? I think I've seen that on. Okay.
We're actually going over to LaGrange tomorrow and
Friday,
and go camping and taking the canoe with us.
Very cool. Well, we'd love if you ever get over this way, look us up. I mean, we'd love to, maybe go out and camp with you. I'm not going to be a no teardrop, but. So your channel. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're at Milton because we get over that way. Are you in Milton?
No, he's over.
I'm over in Jackson.
Okay. We just came through there not too long
ago. I know.
ago.
When I saw your video where you were up at Skidaway, up in Savannah, and you guys came right past our house to get over there. So your channel, as we said here, is about 3 years old. What made you decide one day I'm gonna start a YouTube channel?
I have always been interested in gardening, and I get on YouTube and I want to look up something or how something's done, and here's all these people out there giving this gardening advice. I'm like, that's completely wrong. You can't grow vegetables that way. That's not how that works. And I just felt like I needed to put out a different different alternative of growing certain type of vegetables, so that I can interject some truth into that.
Wide Family Farm, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Much appreciated. Randall, you've got some incredible gardeners on here right now. So they're probably listening. I'm sure they're going to pop over there and check out your channel, because if you're saying you're a gardener, they're gonna go check you out. So every Wednesday about 6:30, I pop over to Jules Small Space Gardening, and Jules is up in North Carolina. There's another one on here called MB Heritage. They're up in North Carolina, as is Boone Child, and essentially they're 3 gardening channels that are very, 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 very knowledgeable folks. So I'm sure they will be popping over to check out your gardening stuff.
Yeah, I used to live in North Carolina there at Camp Lejeune, and so I'm very familiar with the North Carolina climate. Did some gardening there also.
Real quick, Paula
Wells
wants to know which one flies ? See the sign behind them.
Which one flies?
Oh.
Huh?
That would be random.
Yeah, I was an air crewman in the Navy. I did fly for 4 years.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, I got that pulled up, Dad.
So check this out. This is Randall built this teardrop camper from literally But, all right, I'm sorry. I want to give credit where credit's due. Randall and Mechelle built this from scratch. I mean, they built it on a you actually built the frame for the trailer as well, as I recall, correct?
He welded the frame.
Yeah, couldn't find a trailer, and I was just like, well, if I buy a welder, I can just go downtown to the local metal distributor, get the metal myself, and weld it up about half the price of what it would cost. And I've got an uncle that's a welder that lives just down the road. So I had him come over and inspect my welds before we flipped it over to do any work. And I did really good with the welds. I enjoyed it. And yeah, I got no problem welding.
Michael Marshoni says, my wife and I used to dress primitive, camp primitive, compete in black powder, shoot primitive competition many years ago. We are way too old now. Well, Michael, I'm not sure how old you are, but that's exactly my opinion as to why I have a camper nowadays, because I'm done with that primitive camping.
Yeah.
My butt will never grace a sleeping bag again unless it's absolutely necessary. Isn't this cool? I mean, very, very cool.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And it took you how long to build that?
600 hours over 4 months.
Okay.
About $4,500 invested. We didn't spare any expense. So we didn't.
4,500 total is what you invested in the materials to build it?
That's right. Yeah. And that's probably about average for a person looking to build one.
And it took us a little bit longer because the fiberglass had messed up. We had to redo the front of the camper where it goes down really sharp, and then the hatch we had to redo.
So I'm sorry I interrupted you. I asked you about what made you, what kind of propelled you to start a YouTube channel and you started talking about gardening?
Yeah, there was a lot of bad information out there, and it really just got under my skin. And I was like, I've been gardening since I was 12, and I've read cover to cover the Rodale's Organic Gardening magazine. I've probably read that book cover to cover 2 times, and I just love getting out and gardening. And people were just getting on YouTube and they're like, well, this is how you do it. And I'm like, no, that's not. You're telling people bad information. And so I was like, I'm just going to start a YouTube, just kind of set the record straight, because they're putting out some really some awful information.
Well, didn't you know that everybody on YouTube is an expert?
Bad part. If you have someone, if you have a pandemic and all of a sudden you decide you want to raise your vegetables,
Yeah.
well, you need to be getting the accurate information out there.
Right. Well, we learned that when we started in with livestock, particularly in with the goats. Goats are not an easy animal. I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong, a lot of go off the rails with goats, and we really ended up turning to authorities on people that really understood what they were doing, because there was so much really, really bad information on what and how to raise and manage a goat herd, and so my wife has really kind of just immersed herself in that over the last 5 years, and I'd put her up against anybody now in terms of just raw knowledge about goats. It's pretty impressive. So what's been
to start eating a little bit healthier, so we had discussed raising our own meat, and we only have 2 acres here. So we don't have any room for cows, and we don't really eat much beef anyway.
Or pork.
So chickens, and we built a couple of a chicken pen and a chicken tractor.
And turkeys.
So we raise our own.
I call it the fowl farm.
So we raise probably 90% of the meat that we eat in chickens and turkeys.
Do you have a certain breed of chicken that you prefer over others, or have you just?
Right now we've been sticking with the Cornish cross, but yesterday I come in and I was like, they got Freedom Rangers, and you can hatch those eggs and have a sustainable way to have meat chickens. So we decided that that's probably a shift that we're going to take here, is start bringing in the Freedom Rangers for egg layers, and then hatching small batches of maybe 10 at a time, raising those out, harvesting the roosters, instead of trying to raise 20 or 30 at one time and doing one big harvest. Maybe we can.
Yeah, we did the Cornish cross last year, and you know, this is going to make me sound, I don't know, probably weak, but I made up my mind then that we probably will never do Cornish crosses again, simply because I felt really bad for those birds. I mean, they grow so fast that they literally have a hard time even walking. I mean, that is we got what we wanted. We got gigantic birds that yielded a ton of meat. But I felt really bad for those birds. I mean, living in Florida, as hot as it is, this is not the place to do them. If you're gonna, you probably should do it in winter but then they don't feather out. They didn't feather out really well. So we made a change last year to a French breed. I think Anne is in here from Big Frenchie in Little Texas. And I think Jake told me the other day, her husband, that she's they just got some of these, but we started breeding Brisset birds last fall, and it's a French breed. I don't even think they're recognized by the American Poultry Association.
They're not recognized. They're not recognized as a French breed. So
I'd like to hear more about them.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking bird. They're very pretty.
They're excellent. I mean, they're very, very good dual purpose birds. I mean, we get a lot of eggs from them, and they fill out really, really well.
Yeah, it's a French Brisset. But if they are bred in America, again, they don't recognize that breed. But they do recognize the American Brisset. So, but it's not, you can't have a French Brisset over here. They don't, again, they just won't recognize it.
Yeah, any of the building videos, the ones that have just recently gone up where I'm working at the front of our property, and you see the white birds that are wandering around. In particular, I did a short last week of our rooster. That's the French Brisset. He's a Brisset rooster. And then I think we've got seven or eight hens. And when we're going to breed them, we just basically confine that set of birds, harvest the eggs, and then put their eggs in the incubator. And we have all white. I didn't know there was different colors of French Brisset, frankly. Thorhaven Farm, welcome. So what's been your biggest? You started your YouTube channel 3 years ago. You've been homesteading for how long?
Well, since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your biggest challenge? Let's put it the other way. What's been your biggest kind of enlightenment?
We need a greenhouse for the winter vegetables.
Yeah, that's going to be on our short list.
And
extending our growing season.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then we lost like 10 turkeys to some coyotes, so we had to learn we had to redo our turkey tractor to protect our flock next time.
Yeah. So we had to build Fort Knox in a tractor form.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some serious garden enclosure envy because I built ours so that it could avoid deer getting into it. Is that why you built the way you did?
On my garden?
Yeah.
Nah, I just built it because I like the way it looked.
I mean, it's really, really cool. And my next step is to kind of do that same kind of the cloth on the ground, because, during the summer it just gets overgrown. And
oh yeah, we had grass around the side of our raised bed system, and the grass was just getting to be too much to try to take care of. And when you have really fertile soil, the grass gets really thick and it's hard to mow, even on a weekly basis. So we just laid down the cloth. Well, I think we ordered that cloth from Berry Hill Farms, and it was like $100 for a few hundred yards of it. It was really affordable. And so we just decided to cover the entire garden and plant down through the cloth.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that. It's a lot cleaner. It holds moisture better too.
Well, that's kind of one of my winter projects this year is to probably do something very similar to that around the main part of the interior of the garden structure. But I saw that on some other channels, and then I wanted something that we could, number one, keep the deer out of, and we free range all of our chickens. And I put our dog in there and I closed it up, and she cured the problem of chickens getting in there quickly. So we don't have any chickens trying to jump in there anymore. That worked out well. Paul says, I love the cloth. We get ours from Grower Solutions. So what's been so your need for a greenhouse has kind of been kind of your biggest aha moment. How about the biggest challenge that you've encountered?
Well, our 2 acres is mostly pecans, and so we only have a small section where we can get ample amount of sun to raise our vegetables. So I think utilizing the
we're going to take down some pecan trees, basically.
Long story short.
Is that why you got this mill?
That's not the only reason. I do a bit of woodworking also, and I really enjoy that. So I decided if we had a mill, then we can pull out all the lumber we wanted to build a fence in the front yard, to build future projects. And I think we're going to do another camper also.
We're definitely doing another camper.
A bigger one?
Yes, one we can stand up in.
You got it, Randall.
Not real big. Not real big. 6 by 12, maybe.
Okay.
6 foot tall, 12 foot. Something really small. Something you could stand up and put your pants on if you have to.
Right.
It's hard to get dressed inside of a teardrop when you only have 4 foot of.
And if it's cold outside, you don't really want to go outside to get dressed. So we're going to keep our teardrop for summer camping, and then have one we can stay. I want to go to Alaska. So.
Oh wow! There you go. There you go.
In Alaska, it's on my bucket list.
That's another good thing about having a teardrop camper is with my truck, I still get 20 miles a gallon pulling that camper. And that thing pulls 80 miles an hour, and you don't even know it's back there.
Right.
We're really pulling it, and I'm not reluctant to say, well, I don't really want to pull the camper that far.
Right.
It's no big deal.
So Thorhaven Farm says we free range our chickens depending on the time of the year. When we plant seeds, the chickens don't get to free range. When plants are established, the chickens can free range. Well, we don't do it when we try to avoid them from getting in there, because they will tear up a garden where there was. I mean, at least that's been my experience. So yeah, we don't let them.
So 2 days ago, I was out building the pizza oven that we're working on right now, and Michelle went to go check on the chickens, and there was a fox right there at the chicken pen, and it really didn't run off whenever she approached. So yeah, if we do any kind of free ranging, we do it late in the evening where they only get out for just a couple hours, and then it's bedtime.
Yeah, the only way that we can do that is we've got a dog, and that dog is trained to be confined within that fence, and for the most part, she does not leave that fence, and she was raised with chickens, so that's really what in her mind, her prime guardian task is to protect the chickens. So, to my knowledge, now I don't know for sure, but to my knowledge, I don't think we've ever had a bird of prey get one of our chickens, and we've always free ranged.
She had got a hawk.
No, don't tell me about that.
It's okay when you're defending your livestock.
I'm right there with you, Michelle. I'm sure I have a similar story. So, well, folks, I want to be respectful of your time, and I know Randall said that you guys are a couple miles from church, and I told him I would get them off a little bit early, give you guys plenty of time to get to church. And I just am really, really appreciative of y'all coming on here. And here's what, is kind of guests that come on. If you will go to our, I think it's in any one of our videos. If you go to one of the videos, there's a Teespring link in that video. And if you guys will go pick out a size, color, and design for t-shirts, I will get one out to you.
Yay, that's great.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want a Lala Farm cup, I'll give you that option. You want t-shirts or you want a cup?
Oh, probably a t-shirt.
Yeah, I'll take a t-shirt.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, go to one of the videos. Look for that t-shirt, that Teespring link. It should be in each one of the videos. And then I think there's 3 different designs you can choose from. So send me an email with the size, color, and design you want, and it'll take a few weeks. It'll take a couple of weeks to get over to you, but we'll get it ordered and over to you.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it, Rick. I've really enjoyed being on tonight. Thank you so much for inviting us on here.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Well, I appreciate y'all coming on here, and I just there's a handful of channels, and I'm so thankful that I found you guys, because every time I kind of watch one of Randall's videos, it kind of hits something or kind of pushes a button that says I can relate to that. And it's like I've been having a discussion with Lala now for 6 months about why I need a lumber mill. And she has shot it down every discussion. So, I think over time I'm gonna get me one, but it's gonna take it's gonna take a long time, because like you, I haven't done a whole lot, Randall. I've got, where I'm happiest is when I'm out in my wood shop, and I don't do a whole lot out there, but that's really where I enjoy being the most. And down the road, that will be kind of, some of my videos will be kind of woodworking related.
Yeah, absolutely.
I look forward to seeing that. Mm-hmm.
And Rick, really, that we picked up that wood mill for just over $2,000. They're really
well. As soon as I saw the first 2 minutes of that video, I immediately went and looked at the price, and I'm like, wow, that's a good price.
Yeah.
Now, here's a secret. How we got that mill. Chase Bank offered $200 rebate on the first $1,000 you purchase. And I was like, oh, and who else does that? And there was another credit card that did it. So when I bought the sawmill, I bought it between 2 credit cards with 2 $200 rebates at 0% interest for 18 months.
Look at
so
you.
We got the sawmill for $2,000. $400 cheaper than what they were asking.
Look at you.
And we'll have to pay them.
Look at you. That's a great idea. All right, folks. Well, say again?
I said he's helping you out already. So.
Well, this has been a blast. I appreciate y'all coming on here. I love getting to know you a little bit more, and seriously, if you guys ever find your way over here, please give us a call. If it's nothing more than just to stop in and we'll grab lunch or something, and on your way up to Georgia, because most of our camping is in Georgia. I do very little camping in Florida because, frankly, Florida parks are not all that great. So.
Except for the one at Phoenix Springs.
Oh, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
That one we've never been. We've never been camping in the Panhandle. So
it's amazing.
I've probably been to 30 or 40 different campgrounds in the state of Georgia. We've been to most of them. They just have great parks. So maybe one day we'll find ourselves camping together. Maybe because that's what when we come over there this time, that's what we did, is we pulled our camper over on a Friday, and we spent it at a campground 40 miles east, and we pulled it in on a Friday and left on Monday. So we were camping the whole weekend.
That's good stuff.
It worked out well. Yeah. Well, folks, I'm going to be respectful of your time. thank you all for coming on here. I'll be looking for an email from you guys, and let us know what you want. We'll get them over to you. All righty.
Great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Nice
Thanks.
to meet you,
Good night. Good night, folks.
Bye, you guys.
Well, that was fun. And if you guys have not checked out Florabama Homestead, I met them, kind of, as we do, and I've talked about this before. I love meeting people in person. That's kind of what gets my juices flowing, and that's when I really kind of learn, as much as I can about people. That just really, I have a blast with that. So we had the opportunity to meet Randall and Mechelle when we went to that Gulf Coast meetup, and Randall was one of the speakers. He spoke on grafting fruit trees. Really interesting content, interesting channel. So if you are not familiar with them, go check them out. I ask that you please do that. Anyone on here that's been here a while understands that we try to get, we used to do it with limited to really small channels. Now it's really any channel that kind of like-minded folks. If you want to come on, if you want to be a guest, shoot me an email, and we will try to get you on the calendar down the road. Next week we're going to have next week we will be live. The week after that, I don't think we're going to be live unless Rick wants to kind of head that up, because I am going to be visiting. You guys see her sometimes pop in and out of the live, the Crafty Hobbit, over in the Seattle area. So we're going to spend that with my daughter and her family. My second and third youngest granddaughters. Sonny, Emma, shoot me an email, and I will we will get you scheduled. I would love to have you on. Spend the Thanksgiving holiday with them over there. So we're looking forward to that. Again, this is kind of that camping thing that I was talking about. When we're not in our camper, we try to rent a small cabin, and that's what we've done over in the Puget Sound area of Washington State. So Lala and I are going to be over there. So if we go live, it will be kind of Rick heading that up, and I'm not even sure what my availability is going to be. There's Madeline.
I don't either with my crazy new schedule I have at work. So we'll see. So unfortunately, I probably won't know if we'll be able to do that until the night before. So
Michael and or Bobby, whoever's on here, Bobby Jean, whoever's on here for MB Heritage, shoot me an email. We will get you on here. I know you guys have been gigantic supporters. There's a handful of folks that have stuck with us, from the time we started our channel, and have really never kind of left our side, and we try to return that favor and support those channels. So MB, I'd love to have you on here again. That's fine. I think I'm going to have Black's Tropical Homestead on here. I've already communicated with them, so it'll be fun. Not sure about the timeline yet, so work's been nuts, and I've been, so it's kind of like coordinating the YouTube side of things and then the side of things that actually pays the bills, and that's been taking more time recently. Paula Wells, Paula's been, one of our moderators since very early when we started, and she comes on every single live, and there's a handful of folks on here that I'm just really deeply indebted to, and really appreciate your ongoing support. I'm not going to name everybody because I will inevitably forget some, and then I don't want to do that. So I think we might end a little bit early tonight, but
I gotta go bandage up my finger.
What'd you do to your finger?
Well, Lala called Madeline out there. Madeline's not feeling too well. She stayed home from school today because she said her nose was all stuffy and whatnot. But So Lala called Madeline to come out there and help with the goats. So I went ahead and I told her, I said, well, or Chelsea told me, she's like, hey, go out there and help your mom. That way Madeline doesn't have to go. So I went out there and I was trying to catch Melody, which is one of our Nigerian goats, from going outside the fence. Well, or Nubian, not Nigerian, but Nubian. And my finger, as I was pushing to get this goat's head, because she has no horns, my finger got caught like this. And then the gate did not move, but my hand kept going forward, and it just bent and bent and bent and bent and bent. So the entire live, I've been trying to sit here and nurse it with some ice. It does not feel good. And I think Lala probably told me probably a good 10, 15 times that I'm so sorry, Rick Edward. I'm so sorry. But, yeah,
well,
it doesn't feel good. So
I'm going to go down and spend some time with Mama. When Mama's happy, everybody's happy. And so I've hardly even seen her today. So where's that? Michael Marshoni. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Michael. If I'm not, then I apologize. Says to all my fellow Navy guys, gals, and all other vets, have a great Veterans Day. And you beat me to it, Michael. Please take time to thank a vet tomorrow for their service. If you run across them, and to the veterans that I know that are on here, do me a favor. If you are a veteran and you're in here, I know Michael, so Michael Marshone, thank you for your service. I know Voon is. So Voon, thank you for your service. Any others that are in here that are vets, please put that in the comments really quickly. So
if you're going in the same direction that I think you're going, Dad, you should get them to do an email to you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, maybe we're not on the same page then.
No, I just want to say thank you. So I'm just going to say thank you. Thank you to all of our veterans that are on here, the veterans that may not be on here, that have already logged off. We really appreciate your service to our fine country, and I just want to say thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and log off a little bit early tonight. Rick, you got anything else?
No, just again, if you guys haven't checked out Florabama, go do that after we get done with the live. Shoot over to their channel and just subscribe. I can tell you this: their content is not only entertaining, and it's educational. I mean, he's a lot of the videos are extremely well done. And it takes a lot to get me envious, but there's definitely some things that I envy in their channel. So it's very well done in between the two of them, and in doing their videos, they're awesome. So
he doesn't take himself too seriously. That's what I like about it. So, all righty, folks, we are going to log off for tonight. I want to tell everyone in here, always treat others as you would like to be treated. Thank you all. Happy Veterans Day. And thank you all for your ongoing support. I look forward to Thursday nights just so I can kind of spend this time with you and kind of, chat with my friends. So you all be well. Have a good evening. La La Farm, out.